in front.
That's where he likes him, you know,
Yes,
Jimmy.
that's where he likes him, and he likes the sun on his back, and he's had a haircut for the big job this afternoon, Peter.
Well, it wouldn't match yours, Jim.
Yeah.
3 gone, 1 to go. Let's climb the mountain again, eh? Come on. Quarter by quarter, ball by ball. A game of footy's like building a house, isn't it? Brick by brick.
I could rant and rave. But I realised today that I'm coaching a shit football team.
G'day everyone and welcome back to another episode of Bring Your Boots, a country footy podcast where we're getting out and having a kick and having a chat to the Kings out here in the country. This week we're at the Hyden Karlgarin Saints. With me I've got Mitch Mouritz, Rooster, he'll be called throughout the podcast, and Jack Want. Just went through the story of how the nickname's what it is, mate. Dumph was Dumph Hole. There was Chum, Wanty.
Whopper.
I reckon you were called 5 different names out there tonight.
Yeah, and I don't think that's probably – there might be another 3 or 4, I reckon, that probably haven't been mentioned, and maybe just leave them out, I reckon. But, yeah, copped a fair bit over my time, but I've given a fair bit out, so I deserve everything I get.
So for the purposes of the podcast, what are we rolling with? Which one's your personal favourite?
Well, none of them are my favourite. Probably Chum. Chum rolls off the tongue easier.
Okay, Chum.
Most,
all right, I'll delete the rest. I'll delete the rest with my notes here. But yeah, we're out here, little Tuesday night series. Coming out and having training. I'll just quickly sync my watch. Actually, I'd like to know how far we done, but I think it was about 4.5 Ks of training, and I didn't jump in on that drill at the end there. So it's a fairly decent hit out for the boys. Initially I wanted to do all these games and watch the games and stuff like that, but man, I'm loving this training thing, like getting out and having a kick. And yeah, I spoke to you in the shower, mate. Is that indicative of like the skills normally? Are they that good? Because I'm not joking. I was shitting myself in that first drill. I was like 20th in line, and I'm like, I'm going to be the first one to fuck a kick here.
I don't know, look pretty sharp.
I thought you fit in quite well. You want a game next Saturday or this Saturday? What are you doing?
You always want one until you get it, and then the skills were so good tonight.
Yeah, that's like we were chatting about it in the shower. That's probably the biggest Tuesday we've had, probably for the year, or probably at least 6 weeks. We have seating off Tuesdays. It's always tough to get 2 trainees out of blokes, but that was a good session. I think the boys a big one for the moment. Thought they were on camera and they all turned up. So
good cross section too.
Yeah, it was good.
Of league players and then middle of the road guys, and then a few young kids in there and a few blokes that rock up that we didn't know. Old Ari there.
Yeah, old Ari. And Kurt. Yeah, it was
good.
So.
Yeah.
And what about, do you have many like transient stuff like that in town, just in terms of like randoms rocking up or anything like that with the people that come into town? How often do you get people like, what was it? Ari Gold.
Ari.
So he's in town building
Old
a shed.
Sauce, yeah.
Bring him down.
Yeah, look, it happens all the time. Yeah, and if you're down the pub on a Friday night and you see someone, you'll drag them down here, or if they need something to do, or if they're new in town. We try to be encouraging as we can and bring them down and include them straight away, so they feel like they've been here for a while. That's sort of, I don't know. I think we're relatively good at doing that. Yeah. But no, it's. Yeah, and there's a few young kids there that, you need to push them along a bit but make them feel included. But you got to remember they're only 14, 15 years old. So, yeah.
Hey, fucking Glenn Verbruggen's just cooked me with a text there. So now I've lost my... Oh, here we go. Yeah, the skills out there that I like, mate. The 3 that I've picked up, I just asked you their names, but Lockie Mouritz, fuck, he moves well. He kicks it phenomenally well. Talk to me just. I got a segment later on about your good players, but I guess Rooster, to start with you, you're the president of the footy club and stuff like that. Lockie, he just seems like he's like a club's dream. He's a ripper fella. He runs training. He sets the standard. Like, he's a lead out there, is he?
He's certainly come in, like you said, with the leadership thing, come into his own. He's also my younger brother, so I don't want to pump him up too much.
Oh, is he?
He is, yeah. He'll be picking rocks tomorrow.
Actually, he missed a few now that I think about it. It wasn't the best kick I've seen.
Yeah, but no, he's certainly come a long way and totally bought into the sort of culture and that we had here from probably when he started playing. I think that's one thing you find with Lockie and other guys like that they really pick it up. But in terms of his footy, he's always been quite good. But I think he's gone to other levels here some years with his footy and pushing on. And not only that, but being a leader on and off the field. Yeah, definitely.
And then one to your chum. The other two there, I picked them up. You said they were cousins. So Alex James had that left foot. But what surprised me the most is generally left footers don't have a right. But I seen him hit up twice on his right, like laced him out. And then his younger cousin, is it Tommy?
Yeah, Tommy, yeah.
Yeah. Both of them had phenomenal skills all night. It was zinging around.
Yeah. AJ's got a fair country footy like pedigree and resume. He's played some state country footy and played a bit of waffle footy before he come home. He's probably at the back end of it now, but he's a serious footballer. Still is. And like at his peak, left, right foot, lasers. He was just good. Like he was so good. So much better than probably anyone. Like you think Lockie's good. Like Lockie is good, but AJ is probably a better footballer than him.
Yeah, right.
Like, yeah. And Lockie's a horrible kick, by the way. That is the best kick you've ever seen him. Do not ever tell him he's a good kick.
I got all the skills of kicking in the family.
Yeah, no, he didn't. I don't think.
And then, so just talk to me then about AJ. Does he hit that right foot in games and stuff like that? Because I genuinely, I don't see many left footers. Left footers are like, especially with the way that he kicks, like he has that like really, like you know before he kicks it, he's a left footer with how he moves. And generally like that left peg's just elite and there's no right foot. But I was genuinely surprised how good the right foot was as well. Does he hit that in games?
Yeah. Like he doesn't get stuck on his left side ever. I don't reckon if he's right side, he'll hit you just as well. Probably not as much anymore because he camps himself in the goal square a fair bit. But yeah, like you could lead either side and you knew he was going to put it somewhere close to your direction, if not right on your chest. So fair luxury to have.
And then what about young Tommy, mate? How old's he? I heard him talking about like the Colts Carnival on the weekend, so he's obviously 18 or 19.
20.
20? Yep.
He played as an overager. I think he's co-captain as well down there. His footy's probably come on in leaps and bounds this year.
His fitness this year has been he's one of the fittest in the group, if not the fittest. Yep.
He went to Darren last year, went away, was in Perth, just got off the farm, and obviously had a pretty good year down there. And he's come back this year and been phenomenal. Like Neuron plays as key back.
Really?
And he's not that big. Like he plays as like an intercept defender, but then just sets us up off half back. It's pretty impressive for a kid that's only. Yeah, he's not very big.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm surprised he plays like down back. I would have thought like half forward, wing, mid, like sort of in that sort of area.
Yeah, just we did try to put him in the middle. He's just probably too valuable down back.
Yeah.
Like he's so good. His skills are so good. So no, he's been a good one to get back and to see him play some really good footy and sort of hopefully lead that next crop that comes through. It would be it'd be good. So.
Right, so Rooster, you're probably the best man to ask, and something I wondered on the way in, what does Karlgarin bring to the table? Because it seems like it's all hiding here. It's one little sign.
You'd
like
be right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Single thing that
Absolutely nothing they bring. Zero.
Was that a merger? What's the go with that?
Looks like takeover.
Just took them, just swallowed them up. Really, that was all it was.
Mate, it seems like they're like a little step cousin or something like that. Like a little sign out there, and I had a look on the Google Maps there. This looks like a CUH bin effectively.
Yeah, just the overflow for Hyden. That's what it is.
Okay.
Actually,
there,
technically doesn't exist because there's not a post office there, so they don't have a postcode. It actually should be off the map. Yeah, fuck.
No, good. Produced a lot of good footy players, Karlgarin. Yeah, and merged a long time ago. Last year we had our 100-year of football in the district. And then, Karlgarin was a big part of that back in the day. Yeah. And then obviously, as you know, you do more of these and the story's going to be the same. Farms get bigger and towns get smaller, and that's just how it goes. So,
yeah. So, did it used to be a town? Did it used to be more of a hub than what it is now? Yeah,
it used to be a little, like, it's still a smallish town, but, you know, pulled quite a lot of people from the surrounding farming areas. And then, you know, because it's only 15, 16 k's from Hyden, then after a while, it's sort of everything just sort of comes to the bigger centre. So, that's all that's happened.
All right, into the footy stuff here. The boys this year, the Hyden Karlgarin Saints. Karlgarin, what is it?
Karlgarin.
So how are the boys going this year?
We're going well. Like I think we're third. I think 4 and 3, might be
Fourth,
third
maybe.
or fourth, like sort of in that sort of middle clump. Like we're probably getting the best out of like everything we've got. Like we've got a few older blokes that are still sort of playing some really good senior footy, and then some younger blokes that are trying to find their way. And like our best is definitely good enough, but our depth is heavily tested when
We don't go too deep, do we?
our twos. Yeah, our twos are a resilient bunch, but they're just struggling a bit.
And what about, like, with that then, is it 18 aside, 4 on the bench, or 16 aside? What do you play out here?
16's for league.
Yep.
And, still 3 on the bench. And then Resi's is pretty flexible. The league's pretty good at sort of accommodating other teams, and we'd probably be the forefront of the B grade sort of starting to wane a little bit.
Okay.
Because of the size of the town and that. So usually you can have a conversation with the other coach. He'll say, look, we got this many, how many you got? We can give you a few, or if you've got enough, we'll just play 16s. Usually most towns are pretty good about it. So, yeah, and I mean, a healthy B grade competition makes the day. It makes it better for the A grade as well. Outside of that, guys finish playing footy with however old they are, and there's no B grade. They're probably going to drink piss up on the stand, or they're going to go to golf. So, yeah,
Actually,
we'd rather keep the B grade alive.
I actually reckon in COVID, when we played footy and a lot of other leagues didn't, if we chose not to play footy, we may have lost some B grade sides in our compound here. I think we would have been one that would have struggled, and that doesn't make your footy very fun if there's only one game on the day. I mean, I know Central Wheatbelt do it really well, where they do make a big day, but yeah, I mean, B grade footy's hard yards, but it's a big part of the footy club, I reckon.
Oh, massive,
and
yeah.
Footy.
The characters you get and the people around the club, it's heaps better when the B grade is at least competitive or up and about, definitely.
Like some of those blokes that you came about last week that played in that 05 flag.
Yep, definitely.
Just units, really, but like good club people,
Yep.
like that sort of
Makes a
that's what
strong
you need.
culture. Yep.
Well, that's the thing with the resis as well. There's, I don't know, maybe 18 blokes that you have around the club. So, like with your volunteer spots and all the little bits and pieces, like you lose that side, maybe 5 or 6 are still hanging around the club, but you lose, say, 12 blokes that aren't even coming down, aren't helping out, aren't paying their little fees, and aren't buying a few beers or a salad roll or something like
aren't
that.
coming to training.
Yep.
Yeah, all those things.
Filling up the
definitely.
numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So, in terms of that, you say your town's pretty small. So, what would Hyden be like in the league in terms of the size of the town? Are you guys a small town or?
Well, we'd
Probably be the smallest.
probably the smallest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
smallest
right.
town. Yeah.
Well, because Borough Cobham's now in Merredin, so. But yeah, Borough still draw from a very wide area, but yeah, we're probably the smallest.
Smallest town, yeah.
And then Cool and Clondinen's 2 towns. Like,
2 towns, yeah. Clondinen's quite small.
Yeah.
Coolon's quite a big area.
yeah.
But yeah, they're 2 strong and pretty strong sporting.
Yeah, very
towns.
strong.
Like they
Yep.
merged and just became a powerhouse. Like it was ridiculous.
Yep.
Yeah, that was so good. For
Yeah,
so
they were.
long.
They set the
Like,
standard for a long
and
time.
they still
Yeah.
probably are. Some
Yeah. Yeah, I had a look at the results this year and last year, and again from afar, when you think of this district and this footy league, you always think about like Cool and Clondinen, and is it Dishburns? No, who was there? Who was Duckworth? Yeah,
a big
That,
name.
th-
Yeah.
yeah. So like him out there, I don't know if he was player coach or whatever, but he seemed like he was in the state countryside. He was like a phenomenal player.
150 against West Perth. Or
Yeah,
something.
Yep.
and then he came back out, fitted in seamlessly, and yeah, it seemed like Cool and Clondinen. Who you got there, mate? No, don't worry about that. I'll show this here. When I said Glyn messaged me, I'll put it onto this camera. These dickheads in this 78 messages since we started this podcast. That's Braden Parker, Dave Parker, and Glyn Verbruggen. It's a nightmare. But yeah, so you do think about this league, you think of like this Cool and Clondinen powerhouse, and has that sort of waned off? Like who would be, I think Southern Cross this year are strong, but like who is, in your opinion, like the big club in the district?
Yeah, Cool and Clondinen set the tone for a long time.
They took a long time to come back to the pack.
Yeah, that's right,
Time.
yeah.
They played in the grand final in 2022.
Yep.
With it's pretty much an old list, but
Yeah.
yeah.
The last few years, it's probably chopped and changed a bit. Narram had a really good run at it with a good group they had together, and they built that. That was a credit to them. They stayed in it for a while. They've probably come back to the pack a little bit. We're probably the same. We had some really strong years. Did we play in
Four grand finals
four in a row? Yep.
1-2 flags.
Yep. Outside of that, it does chop and change a little bit. Obviously, some towns rely a lot on the imports and stuff, which is not a new thing in country footy.
Mm-hmm.
But there's those probably three. I think those three towns have been pretty strong throughout. Yeah.
Well, when I was looking at like Narrabeen's list, it's like Little Albany. I'm assuming like Thomas Baldwin has dragged in Heath and Connor Spinks, Albany boys. Heath Ravenhill, Albany boy. Like I was thinking,
So he's going back to Claremont now, Tom. Tom's
Yep.
playing for Claremont and Narram. But those Spinks boys, and those two young, like Ravenhill and Rory Williams-Jolly. They got Blaine, They got Blaine Wilson as well.
Yep.
Which
helps.
Yeah. They did well. They sort of come from a bit way back, and then had they developed a little core of people, and then all of a sudden it doesn't take one or two, and then they build a very successful side, which it's a credit to them.
Yeah, I did know when you mentioned Rory. Yeah, he's a Nibing boy originally, so he's from a real good family. He's a good kid too. He's he actually reminds me a little bit of like Toby Green. Like he's rough around the edges, but he is actually a really good footy player. But you got to keep him on a tight leash a little bit. I reckon he would get loose if you took the collar off. But it's interesting that you boys say that with the league and this year Southern Cross are the benchmark. Is that right?
Yeah, they'd be the benchmark this year. Yeah. Well, I think they haven't lost a game yet. And then obviously last year's premiers, I'm not sure they might have pinched one off Narram, I think. But on the day they were better. So but they're probably the benchmark this year. And then after that, there's Burracoppin are going all right. But after that, there's sort of like Dylan was saying, there's a bit of a pack there, back all the way to sort of 6th, 7th. So
which is good. Like that's pretty healthy, I think, to have. And even like I think Bruce Rocker, they last, haven't won a game, and I'm not sure how. Like we played them up there, and that was probably one of the best games of footy like I've played in. That was back and forth and end to end, and they should have beaten us. They just haven't been able to win one, but they could beat any side on their day. They just haven't been able to win one. So it's pretty tight from 2 to 8.
What would you say if you had to like say in a sentence to explain what sort of footy is played in the Eastern Districts Footy League? Like what is it? Is it contested? Is it fast? Is it outside? Like what would if you had to like pin your trademark on what this league is as a footy league, what sort of footy gets played here?
Depends where you play. Like we're at a small oval. Like our oval is tiny. Like our 50s aren't even 50. I think they're like
I didn't fucking feel like it tonight when I was getting around.
But it's pretty contested here. But like you get up to Coolin and like Merredin's quite a big oval, and it can be quite fast. Like there's some like Burracoppin are young and skillful, and they move the footy like quick and slick, and like even Newcarney are quite young and skillful, and like Southern Cross they've got like eliteness pretty much all over the park. But it's probably a bit of I would say it's pretty big and contested mainly. Yeah, but there's definitely some quick footy starting to roll into the league. Like Burracoppin got some blokes that they are hard to get hold of. They touched us up here, and we're no chance after quarter time.
So with that, then who do you reckon, Rooster, in your time around here, who would you say in the last 15 to 20 years, who's the best player that's come through like the club first, Hyden Karlgarin Footy Club? Who would you say is the man?
It's interesting actually, because I've sort of come through probably a couple of transitions in our club from when it was really strong to being back to the pack and then coming up strong again. So probably in the later part of my footy, I'd probably say probably AJ and Warbo Lockie, probably those two been very competitive. You go back to when I first started playing, or and the guys were finishing up. Your Brad Smiths and your Craig Mayfields were pretty handy. Yeah, not pretty handy, they were very handy. Guys like that. In terms of the league, I'm not sure when I first started playing, and then early guys you'd play against, probably Barty Parsons for mine from Narrabeen. He was a very good football player, very good ruckman. Yeah, saw that, versatile ruckman. And also, Simon Ducky is always competitive and, still is competitive over a long period. His longevity is incredible.
Why is he still playing?
Still playing league footy. Yeah.
I reckon 3 years ago, he was like, he might have won the goal kicking.
Mate,
Like, or top 5. He
you
was
keep talking. I'm up. That thing's up to 94 text messages. How old is Simon?
47?
No,
he's not that old. is he?
Yeah.
I'll
same age-
fucking vomit.
I reckon.
If he's 47, I'll vomit.
Similar age to BJ, I reckon.
Is he?
It's 46, 47. Oh,
He's 46.
There you go.
there you go.
It's not bad.
It's nuts.
Are you kidding? I feel like he was only dominating like 4 years ago.
He was. I'm not going to pot him, man, because next time we play him, if he listens to this, he'll probably come out and kick 6 or 7. Like he's, yeah. But
What
I'm
a
with Mitch.
wizard, man.
He's probably, the best footballer I've ever played footy against. Against. He's a freak.
Dom, you'd probably know who's sort of better around at the minute.
In the league, oh jeez, yeah.
Mate, I'm a country boy too. There's a caveat. They've got to be in here for at least 2 years before you can say their name.
Pains me to say, but my little brother's probably going all right at the
Oh,
moment.
He is going
yeah.
right. Yep.
Samuel? Well, he don't train.
Hey,
Where is he?
Perth.
Weak.
Perth. Just runs marathons, the weirdo. I don't know what's wrong with him. Geez, around the league. Eric Bashmule from Southern Cross can play. Like he just sort of roams around, does what he wants. Young kid from Burracop and Coden Daddo. He was at West Perth, I reckon, last year and has come back this year and he towed us up when we played here. He's like quick and strong, like just breaks lines. But yeah, there's a lot of good players. It's hard to put your finger on one at the moment.
Well, what about so one of my loves is the state country program. Who give me a name or two that you think sort of it's really hard to lock someone into a side, but give me one or two names from the league or even the club that you think could really push for selection this year in the state country squad.
Oh, jeez,
So fun.
yeah, it's a tough one on the spot.
I mean, probably from us while Doom's thinking. A few years ago, definitely Lockie. And then before that, AJ did play some state country footy. At the moment, I mean, Wanos would be our number one bloke.
top,
Would
yeah.
that be up to that standard? I don't know if that would be at the minute. But it wouldn't be far off. He's an elite footy player.
And who was that?
Sam,
Sam.
Jack's
yeah.
Jack's younger brother.
He's a bit off it, I reckon. He's a bit off
it's
it.
a bit flat, but I can't really do anything about it.
Mate, I'll tell you what, I have the sickest memory of him. The Great Southern Storm, I think it was at Lake Grace. He did this Chasetown tackle it was like,
Probably the last tackle he ever laid.
mate, it might have been his only for the carnival. He saw Nick Rewalt. You know that one? It was identical, mate.
Jesus.
And he's come from like half forward and he's running like, how he runs, just like, nowhere near it. And he just kept going and going and going. And then this full forward tried to stroll in for this mark and like save the game as well. Like, man, it was so elite. It's one of my best memories in footy, that tackle. It was so good from him.
He doesn't need any more like pump ups or any more ego boosts.
I was warned
It's getting
against telling
annoying.
that story. They said,
Yeah.
don't tell that story. I was like, I'm telling that story.
Nah, there was actually Joel actually texted me and said we should didn't do this podcast when you were going to do it after the game, and we had a quick vote as
Everyone voted
just
no.
thought,
There's a criteria, mate.
Like,
Sam,
yeah.
sorry, mate. You just don't quite
it
need it
just doesn't fit it.
No.
State country, jeez.
in the league there. What, like Daddo, like if you...
That
if he's-
Daddo's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's good. He's good. He's like young enough to still play Colts, but
Oh, really?
year on, I think. We played the Colts Carnival on the weekend.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that is.
Whether he plays an overager, I'm not sure. And I think you could probably put your finger on 3 or 4 from Southern Cross. But they're probably not blokes that have probably been out here
around,
for a long
no.
time. But yeah, like blokes that have probably been pretty good in the past, like for a long time. Like Ben Doyle from Corrigan's been a good footballer for a long time. He's probably a bit similar to Lockie, like that big, tall, rangy midfielder.
Moves the same, yeah.
Moves the same. Like he's probably a bloke out here that's been like he's won a Miller medal. He's been a good footballer for a long time. Like he's probably another bloke that might not have got a crack because of what his postcode is. But yeah, he's probably the main one that comes to mind. Like he has been a good footballer for a long time.
With the Corrigan thing, I guess again from afar, like the rumours come around, like Jaden Bootsma, like playing in that. Was he pretty phenomenal for Corrigan when he was like when he fresh out there playing his best footy? How good was he at Corrigan?
On his day, yeah. I mean, he come from Katanning before that, so he'd been out of the system for a while. But on his day, like,
Very good, yeah.
so good. Like he kicks it a mile, like kicks it out of sight.
Yeah.
That's what I keep getting told.
Yeah.
His foot, like
Just the strike on it.
Just stripes it. Yeah, like he was
Probably
there
wasn't
for a
super consistent when he was out here, but
sure.
still very on his day, just take it
Unbelievable.
apart. Yeah,
mate. One of my things I like, because I seem to be mates with all these dipshits. Like this text thing here is up to about 142 text messages when I last checked. But just in terms of your footy club, who's like the biggest pest in the change rooms? Like
Trent
James.
Trent James.
Like hands down.
Was he here tonight?
No, thank God. Like he's like you can think of
That was unanimous there. That
like there's just bottom feeding humans, and he is like, mate.
Is he another sibling rooster or what? Or relative?
Cousin?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, he's one of the worst people ever.
He
like,
is,
It's just
yeah.
not. Yeah, it's so strange. And he's got himself this new missus, and she's like, I don't know.
Way too good.
She's a lawyer. It's just weird.
Really smart.
Like, he is like nothing. Yeah.
Like a magician, he sounds
Oh,
like.
I don't know what's.
And his gear is not that good.
Like
It's
it's-
average
yeah.
or to small at best.
Yeah,
so
like it's.
Like his appendage or like his. Yeah, okay.
So it's not like he's putting a big rod in the water.
So
or
he's
anything
real
like
funny.
that.
Don't know.
I don't know what he's got going
Nah,
on.
he's weird. He's weird, but he's the biggest pest in the world.
Yeah.
Hands down.
And his
Like,
brother's a flog as well.
True.
Mate. And so with that, like I was like, I'm not doing these game day reviews, and I have these little segments that hopefully I can get some sponsors in and sponsor these segments. But another one of mine was a canteen review. Obviously can't do that tonight, but I just want to, I just like potting fellas. So who's the most likely to dodge like canteen duty in the team?
Get real personally, right?
Yeah. Who's this bloke, mate? Because I hate it. I was always that sucker that would do 1 or 2 sessions over what I needed to do because there's all these scabs that never turn up. But let's pot someone here.
I'll start at the AJ.
Yeah. I don't think he's done that.
I reckon
yet.
he's done a canteen duty for 5 years.
Yeah.
That could be completely wrong, but
When
it's
you have a
bit of
shoe like that, you get a bit of a license. That's the problem.
He's always just starts pushing his kids around the pram,
Oh.
just whenever he's going to get a tap on the shoulder.
Single dad, can't help out.
And we know Alan does all the work in
Oh,
that relationship. so-
Plenty, yeah.
And what's
Kelly James, another cousin.
Yeah.
Kelly James wouldn't have stepped foot inside.
But, could, like a good person to patronise the setup.
Yeah.
A lot of money over it.
Yeah, he would have tried it out a few times.
Oh, yeah.
What's the canteen like here, mate? Lovely or what?
It's very good.
Careful.
Yes.
Oh,
I've got a vested interest because my partner is the canteen manager, but she does an amazing job.
I bet. And I heard I got a
does.
meal here. What's her name?
Kelsey.
Kelsey. I cannot wait for a succulent meal here. I've found out I've got dinner here, so I was stoked. Because one of my questions I've had to scratch it out was where can I get something to eat on the way home? But
Yeah, we can't let you drive all the way back to Perth and not have a feed. So, Kels will take care of you. Yep.
Oh, perfect, mate.
Yep.
And then when I looked it up, I was trying to find out like who would be AFL players from Hyden itself, and I'm not sure if ChatGPT was wrong, but it said Kyron Hayden was the only player that's sort of come from the area. Is that right or not?
Hayden?
Yeah, that's what it said.
Nah, he's not. I don't think he's from here, is he?
Yeah.
No, I've never heard that name before in my life.
Well, he's a
Plays for Coaching Up now, Kyron Hayden, I think.
yeah, right.
Plays with my brother at Coaching Up.
So, is there anyone in the system at the moment, or that's played like come from Hyden to play AFL?
Oh, not.
Dennis Collins played AFL.
He did. That
way
was back in
day.
the 70s, early 80s. Yeah. Yep.
Carl.
He did. Played for Carlton and for Richmond. A few games for Richmond. Yeah.
Then come here and bought the pub, and he's widow. Or his wife
He's-
still owns it now.
Yeah, he's passed on now, but yeah,
Passed on now.
he coached here, was captain coach here for a few years. Yeah, but outside of that, no, we haven't had anyone else sort of play to AFL standard. A couple of guys have been playing waffle,
Yeah,
but not huge amounts.
yeah. Obviously, AJ played probably 30 games of league. Waffle,
For who?
West Perth
West
and
Perth.
Swan districts.
Okay.
Bailey, who was on the sidelines today with Bung Hammy, he was at West Perth for, probably 5 or 6 years, I reckon, before he came home.
He was on the bike.
Yeah, he's on the
yep.
bike,
And then in the
yeah.
goals.
And then in the goals, yeah. He just never really got a run at it, but he played a few games of league and a few games of resis, but we always spent 15 weeks on the sidelines injured, I reckon. But yeah, we've had a few blokes probably tried a bit higher, but no, never go that far.
Yeah, right. That's really surprising given the standard of footy players that I know have come out of here. Like, it's pretty rare for a town not to have anyone that has played AFL. Like, yeah, that shocks me. It definitely said that Kyron Hayden was from Hyden.
Far out.
You guys
we'll
talk
take
about
it if you
something.
He might be a 1 pointer. Right?
Mate, let me have a quick look, mate. I'll just see this. Maybe it got Hyden, Hayden. Maybe they got that confused. Or mate, he's just getting a big pump up here for nothing. Then Big Kyron, only a few games at North. Where's he from?
Would you say he was playing with Les at
Koji.
Koji?
Koji, mate. The Cougars.
Just
Where's it say he's from?
I reckon he's Perth boy.
Meriden and Katani.
There you go.
Okay.
Meriden's close. Closer than Katani.
Close-ish.
Yeah. All right.
No one to that level, but yeah, blokes sort of definitely pushed it. But I don't know. I think the draw of home and
Yeah.
farm and country probably brought a lot of blokes home.
Yeah, most country towns would be the same. There's a lot of blokes that could have played higher level footy, you know, maybe not AFL, but certainly waffle level. But if they're here and involved in family businesses or, you know, their life goes another way, then yeah,
I
maybe
think you
not.
look back probably to those like years you talk about like blokes like BJ and Mayo, like Mayo in particular. Like he definitely could have gone to a high level, but was on the farm from a young age. And whether he never got the look at it, I don't actually know. But he just stayed here and played for us, which is
probably a perfect segue. Something like probably a little naive from me. Like I played like EDFL at the Clun Colts Carnival and all that. But talk to me about what the pathway looks like from a kid to play footy. Like you're telling like the kids go 90 Ks every single day on a bus to go to school, and there's obviously no Colts here affiliated with the club and stuff like that. Like if you're like a 10-year-old kid, what's your pathway to play footy until like you're sort of 17 or 18?
Out here, yeah, obviously we've got juniors, and then yeah, we don't have a high school or anything, so our kids go away at year 6, whether that's to Perth or to a residential college that's close. But yeah, our kids play we have a very young crew, and they play against kids that are a lot older than them. And after that, probably school footy in Perth most of the time at boarding school is their sort of pathway to that. I think we really try to cultivate our young guys that play junior footy and also during school to feel welcome here, to feel part of the club, because ultimately our draw is for them to come back and play footy here. And I think we've been relatively successful over the journey doing that, rather than rely on sort of guys paying money to come out of Perth, which I just don't think is sustainable in the long term. So yeah, that's probably the pathway here. We've got a couple of young guys that were here tonight that go to Coolin. So yeah, it's sort of 80, 90 Ks away. And then yeah, they come back and play resis. So they're always welcome to play resis and stuff. But that's very much that's not the usual thing. Yeah, most of our kids they go away in year 6. Yeah,
Mate, when we were in the change rooms and we spoke about like that transition for a kid, it's the first time I felt old, because I've always looked at boarding school from the point of view of the kid. Like, oh, that'd be sick. Go away and get to go to school with all your mates at, whatever it is, Aquinas, Scotch, Christchurch, whatever it is. Oh, you'd be there playing footy with all your mates. How good would that be? But tonight, obviously got 3 little kids, mate. That's the first time I've thought about it from like the parents' perspective. Like to lose your kid at year 6 to school, that must be such a tough transition. Hey, like my daughter's, I better get this right. She's in year 1, and I'm like, in 5 years, mate, if she took off, like it'd be such a tough transition. And maybe if you knew it was coming, it'd be a little bit easier to swallow. But yeah, it must be tough. Did you boys all both board at school, or how did that work for you guys?
Nah, well, yeah, I went to school in Albany because we moved.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean,
For school?
Nah, the farm sold.
Yep.
And yeah, mum and dad just moved to Albany when I was 10, and we ended up finishing our schooling there. But yeah, I was a bit like you. I always thought like I was mates with the boarders. Thought that would be. I wish I went to boarding school, but yeah, it's expensive.
Well, yeah.
But
I went away when I was 12, to boarding school. So I think it's just a part of where you grow up and you become to accept it. But you do look at those kids now, they're year 6 and they're going away. It is young, and while that's sort of a necessity where we live, Dump's right. Like it gets pretty expensive. So, but yeah, unfortunately that's where we live and that's part of it. Yeah.
Mate, so you moved away at 12.
Yep.
Were you shooting yourself? Like, how did that work?
I didn't go very well out at the start. No, it was a big change. I mean, you're here with your friends and your parents, and everything's cruisy, and then you go to a city, and maybe you're not used to being there that much. We didn't go to the city much as kids, but and then you're away from your family for sometimes 5 to 10 weeks at a time. It's a big change, but you do get used to it pretty quickly, and they keep you pretty busy, that's the main thing. Sport is a big one in that, I think, definitely.
And then, right. So with that, I know that's sort of from the Hyden point of view with the transition with schooling and stuff like that. What about the league as a whole? How reliant is the league on like travelling players and all that? Like, is that sustainable for the league? Like, I know, Chum, you said that you're on the one of the directors of the league. How strong's the league going at the moment, in your opinion?
Look, I think we're going all right. Like, I think I said here before, sort of every situation is different. Like, we're not as heavily reliant on them here. Other towns are, for whatever reason that may be. And we have a point system that sort of tries to alleviate that and even that out. Are you always going to get it right? I don't think so. I don't think there's any perfect formula in any world to say that. But I think if you look at the comp now, at the moment, like we said with Southern Cross, maybe you're a step in front. But if 2 to 8 is tight, you're not probably that far off the mark of having it pretty close to right. But the league itself is, we're still playing in Division 2 country week, and like we were competitive last year. We didn't get relegated. We didn't finish top, but we were sort of in the middle. So, I think the league's still pretty strong. It's 8 sides. There's not many 8-team competitions left going around, especially in country footy with Resies and leagues. So, I think we're in a good spot. But, it's hard. The paid players thing's hard. I don't know what the future looks like and whether it's the answer or whether there's a way to sort of slow it down. It's going to be the way of the future at some point.
It's tough, hey, that pay play thing. It's
already here. It is the future.
Yeah.
The
But it's
future
like
here.
it is the solution, but it also could be the problem.
Yeah, it could be.
I feel like you go down that track when you start paying a lot of players or you're relying on it. There's no turning back from that.
Yeah.
I think the die is cast then. That's the set you're set in then for the rest. And then, I don't know, Jack's right, but it depends on club to club. But, I mean, personally, we're trying to stave that off as long as we can by trying to, really develop our juniors and then welcome them back to the club. Not saying other clubs don't do that, but just trying to put an emphasis on, you're not going to make the grand final every year. So sometimes you got to take your medicine at the bottom and maybe build a team around some guys. There's been heaps of teams in the EFL that have done that. But yeah, it's hard because I think some teams, if they didn't have the heavy reliance on their paid players, what does the league look like after that? And it becomes relatively unstable, I think. Yeah.
I always have known how important fellas like Lockie, like when you and AJ, like when your best players are the local players, it changes the whole dynamic of a club. Like if you're proper best players and the people that set the standard, like on game day and with their preparation and all that, if they're travelling players and stuff like that and maybe not sticking around for presentations every week and doing all those little things, that's when the soul of a club can die a little bit. So I reckon, you're really lucky that both of those fellas are here on a Tuesday night. I don't know if that happens in Loch Albany, in the other districts, like to have your two prime movers rock up on a Tuesday night when you probably don't need to. It's pretty good as a club.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we've been lucky. We are lucky that we have a strong, for a town so small, we have a pretty strong local core group, and that doesn't come by just overnight. Well, that wasn't us that started that. That was we celebrated 50 years last year. That was 49 years before us. So that was that was something that was sort of bred into us down the line. But we are lucky, and hopefully we can keep pushing it on because there's a lot of kids that aren't home yet, but there's a lot of kids we think that will come home. And yeah, we're hopefully in a pretty good spot in the coming years.
Well, I've got like a little 2-part question here, so I'll start with you, Rooster. From like as a club, what's one thing moving forward that if like the WA Footy Commission or Country Footy WA could help you to ensure the longevity or the success of the club? What's something the Hyden Karlgarin Footy Club, needs to succeed in the next 10 to 15 years?
I think that you'll find it's probably the same answer in every country footy club. It's just numbers. It's just sustainability of numbers around the league and the resis to make the clubs viable, so they're not so reliant, on imports, and that becomes very expensive for clubs. Whether WA country footy can solve that for us, I don't think so. But I think that's definitely would have to be number one, numbers. Yep.
Numbers. And then, Charm, from a league director, big wig, he threw that out pretty early. When from a director standpoint of view, mate, what's something like from the same question, but from a league point of view, what would the league want to ensure success of the league?
Oh, geez. I think actually probably one thing we're probably struggling with at times is umpires.
Yeah,
and support,
100%.
like umpires and volunteers, and that's every club, that's every league. And I'm not sure what that looks like from a WA Country Footy perspective. I know they've got that stuff with DMR Jets and sort of supporting leagues of that. But yeah, we get umpires every week, and we've got a set amount. But they're all blokes that are closer to the end than the start, if you know what I mean.
Like locals,
like we've got, like a lot of blokes in their 50s though that are probably, in 5 years' time they're probably not going to be around, or they're going to be retired elsewhere. So yeah, like volunteers and umpires is probably something I see every day at footy and every weekend that you think, geez, it'd be good if somehow there was a way that every league could have support with that sort of stuff, because otherwise you don't play. You don't get footy at all. Well, that's where it starts. So
also, I think maybe it's been talked about a bit in the last sort of year or two, but I think the issue's been there for a while is probably we're in the West Perth zone. I think probably West Perth have probably dropped the ball a little bit with interacting
this is controversial,
or taking players to go up to Perth, and I think that's been happening for a while. I think it took a letter and in sorts, I suppose, on social media from Craig Miner from Narrabeen, who's a big volunteer at not only their football club but the league, to sort of say, hey, playing pretty good standard of footy out here, we'd like some support from you. So I think probably from the league, from the EDFL maybe, a bit more help from them, or a bit more interaction with them would be good, yeah, definitely.
Mate, I'm not sure, Jack, if you had much to do with that Claremont sort of Great Southern Storm program, but you can look at that Claremont league side. There's like 7 blokes in the league side from Albany or from the Great Southern Storm program, and that's Claremont buy into that program like you would not believe, and it's probably a byproduct of Daryl Panizza really forcing it and having a really strong connection. But yeah, like the Colts, I think they had something like 7 kids in the Colt system from the Great Southern, and I reckon even like my year, I was the only kid from the Great Southern in the squad. Now they got 7 kids in the team. And then the league side, I don't reckon had any. Like Tommy Ayton and a few others were playing resis, but I'm not sure there was any in the league side. But Claremont are now reaping the benefits of buying into their local league and just the pathway, keeping the kids engaged, training. Now they got like 12-year-olds in a program training over summer. They do all that, and so it probably speaks to if West Perth were to buy in a little bit more and invest a little bit more in the league. Like there's clearly footy players here. Like there's 3 or 4 dudes out there that could play resis at least at West Perth. Like I know that just from tonight.
Yeah,
so they buy in a bit more.
Yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head with West Perth. Like, yeah, they probably haven't looked hard enough out here, I don't think, at times to. And we're not the only ones. There's a lot of blokes everywhere, and there's a lot of blokes out here that have given a lot of time to that even Colts level, resis in league, and then sort of come back. But yeah, they could buy in a bit more.
What about like in that? Is it? I sort of asked it a little in the change rooms there. Like, I guess like what are the how's the farming out here at the minute? Is it like successful? Like I think maybe in Albany there was like a leaner patch on the farm, so it was a little bit easier for the kids to jump off the farm and maybe explore other options and go to Perth and play a little bit more of waffle. But I guess if the family business, which is the farm, was booming, then the pull home might be a little bit stronger. What's the farming like out here at the minute there, Rooster?
Yeah, well, it's like anywhere. The farms are getting bigger, and that's we've had good people come back and work on farms or come back to family farms. Last year we had a pretty solid year. The year before that was up to shit. 2 years prior to that, there wouldn't have been anyone in the state that had a bad year. But yeah, no, obviously we're in the Eastern Wheat Belt, so it can be a bit hit and miss sometimes. But I think most of the guys that are around here now, the family farms have been here a long time, so it's a longevity thing. So those guys are going to come back, whether it's fat or if it's thin. It's good to see at the moment we've got like a good crop of young guys that are back here. So hopefully that continues, definitely.
Do you think that it's sort of plateaued in terms of like the farms selling off to the bigger farmers? Or is it still at risk of like people consuming other farms, if that makes sense?
Mate, he is consuming other people's farms.
Is he the big dog?
He sent like 3 families out of town.
Oh, my
It's
God.
disgusting.
Well, no, he has to be president just to make up for the numbers he's kicking out.
No, I'm just a small time guy.
Shut it.
Yeah, well, it's funny because farms are only like I said, they're only getting bigger. The pleasing thing for us is that families are still buying parts of farms here instead of like I know in some spots, you go down the south coast and that it's just corporates galore.
Yep.
I don't think that's good for a town in the future, but the farms are getting bigger, but at the moment we've got a good crop of guys, and that's only going to continue. But last week, you talked to the Darren boys, and they have the same issues that we have, and that's our numbers are only going to either going to stagnate or fall a bit just with the people in the town. A lot of my parents' age groups have sold their farms and moved on, or they've retired early, or stuff like that. That's getting relatively common. But for those guys that are coming back here, like I said before, I think their longevity is a big part of it. Yeah.
Mate, a little bit off the serious topics here. Is tennis big in this town? Because that place out there looks like Rod Laver Arena, mate. What is going on out there?
Here. They love it.
Rooster hates tennis.
No, I don't hate tennis.
You do.
I spent a lot of weekends as a kid at
It's
tennis.
because you're shit at it. That's why I like. Tennis is pretty big. Well, yeah.
Mate, those courts
It is
are
out
of control.
Bill Monday tennis camps.
Always
That's probably
good.
why you hate tennis.
Yeah, it's good weekends.
Big. They've got a couple of pennants teams, I think. Well, they would have 2 if they could have. You could have 1. If you want 2 men's teams, you have 2 women's teams. You have 2 pennants teams. Yeah, it's quite big. They've just got new courts and under lights, and
they've done really well.
They've done really well, and they're they're pretty self-sufficient. That tennis club,
They want
raised
something.
A lot of money.
They go and do it
something,
themselves.
They just go do it themselves.
Yeah.
You want lights and new courts. Oh well, how much is it? It's this much. Well, we'll just go and put a heap of crops in, and we'll just
we'll do the work. And I would tip my hat to them.
They've done really well.
They've done well for themselves,
Mate, like I'm not sure what the surface is, but that like blue looks phenomenal. Like I was here a little early, and I sort of rolled over there. I was like, there's a few tennis courts. And I was like, there's like 10 courts.
8 courts. Yeah.
8. They all look immaculate. The fence is epic. Like they're better than most of the places in Perth.
We've had 8 courts here forever.
Yeah, for a long time.
Yeah, like I can't even remember there not being 8 courts here. I mean, there's probably 8 courts in a lot of towns, though. But yeah, tennis is. I don't know. Some people like tennis. Brewster doesn't.
You have sport over the summer. It's a community thing. Everyone's. I mean, you don't want to like play down your community, but other than sport, maybe there's not so much going on. And because we live relatively far away from most places, it's something to do. But yeah, tennis, it's a solid little club.
They have
Definitely.
they have a couple of big social days in summer,
Yep.
trying to get people off headers and get them out of work and get them to play tennis and pretty much get on the piss. And that's all it about.
Yeah, it's
really.
very welcoming there.
Yeah,
It's good.
Well
Yep.
supported.
Mate, it's I've had a little bit. Is it Joel's your cousin?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a cheat. He's a cheat. I played some Volkswagen scrambles.
He's
Or,
a dog, man.
mate, he comes in, he reckons he's off about a 36 handicap.
Come on,
Pipes him straight
text
down
him,
the
ask
middle.
him how he went in Melbourne last week.
Mate, I don't text. He's a cheat, mate. I don't confuse
I tell you,
anything
mate.
golf related, mate. I won't speak to him, mate. He rocks up to every Volkswagen scramble. He's an absolute bandit, mate. Is the golf out here pretty strong? I seen it. Was it in Clondinin? Like the course looked all right, and
Yeah, our golf club's strong at the moment. Yeah, we've been rolling up like 16 to 20 every Sunday, which is a pretty good roll for us. Yeah, it's been really good.
so good.
Like our golf club it looks immaculate at the moment. We had some early rain and it's been good, but yeah, golf's good, and I think trying to get a few more boys into it. It's good on a Sunday. You go for a walk, you feel a lot better on Monday.
Yeah.
They're all very welcoming up at the golf club. If you want to come up there and you're no good, or if you're the best, or if you just want to do 9 or 8 or 7,
Whatever
very,
it is.
very obliging.
Cheap
Yeah.
piss.
Yeah.
It's good.
You were saying about Joel before, Kurt.
Cheap.
Like he came up. What did he come up for that reunion for the 2014 flag? And his brother didn't come, which was good because no one likes Ryan.
Bit of head wobble, I bet.
Well, we had a slideshow on that TV there behind you, and like all the photos, it's just Joel, just on, just it was just all about him.
Hijacked the night, did he?
Yeah, he did.
Standard.
Yep.
Standard from him.
Just made it about himself.
Yeah.
Scumbag.
Nah,
Mate.
he's just a loser. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
With that, one of the things going through the change rooms, like I know that, and I've said it probably 3 episodes now, there's talk of like the new change rooms and stuff like that, but this club rooms and the change rooms has proper character. Like I walked into that change rooms and I was smiling. Like that is a footy change rooms. Like the new model or format, or however they're doing this, it's they look nice and they look flash. You don't feel anything when you walk in, but walking
Cubicle showers is what you're talking about. You got
yeah. Just it's everything. Like the shitty fridge, that fridge that's probably been here for 30 years or whatever. Like all those little things are character. But one thing that caught my eye that I wanted to ask you about, Rooster, was the Danny Frawley jumper in the change rooms there. Talk me through that. How did that come about?
So Danny came on a night, no different actually. I think Cool and Condit are having one tonight with Dane Swan. Same style. I don't think it was through Ultimate Promotions or whoever, but he came, he took training. We've had a few nights like that here, but Danny came and took training. He sat in the rub down area that you saw. Every single bloke that walked into that change room, he stood up and he shook their hand and asked their name, and then you had a brief chat with him and he said what he thought you should be and all that sort of stuff, and just broke the ice. He took training. We had really good numbers that night, trained the house down. And then after that, we came in here. It was the Thursday night, so we opened the bar, and we're lucky because we still sort of have the rights to our bar. We didn't get home. So this is the Friday morning. We didn't get home till 5:36. We had an old trainer here, Fish, who made pizzas from 2:30 onwards, and Danny was here till doors closed, till sun up. He was here the whole time. That was the most human interaction or enjoyable interaction with someone that was a professional. He was a coach of an AFL team and played for St Kilda for so long. He was a cold hero. But you could just see his roots shine through. He was from the bush. He just knew it was like he's been here all his life. But one thing that I remembered was walking through that door, and he stood up and shook your hand and said g'day and made him feel like a friend. And then obviously we got on it that night, and it was a runaway. It was fantastic. I'll never forget that night. It was absolutely fantastic. Yeah.
How long ago was that?
It would have been a good 15 years ago now. Yeah. Yep. I would have probably been, probably 4 or 5 years into my footy. Yeah, definitely. It was great. Yeah. I've got a massive smile on my face. It was so good. It was the best. Yeah.
It's phenomenal how, and I can see how much it means to you. Like, it's phenomenal how one night with someone can have that much of an impact on you. And I was interested to know what the story was behind that. And Spud, I listened to him. My brother-in-law, Matty Sheridan, got me onto it. It's you can go on Triple M's greatest hits, and there's Spud. Man,
how good is it?
I cannot breathe in some of it. Spud is so
Ever
good
having
with
a
that.
bad day, just turn that on.
Bang it on.
No, I agree.
And it segues into what I want to talk about next, I guess. And it was the mental health round this weekend because obviously, Spud took his own life at the end of it, and it's pretty crazy to know someone as charismatic and energetic as what he was on that night and what he was in those Triple M's and stuff like that. Like, it's phenomenal to think that someone like that could take their own life, and the mental health round this weekend. I'm not big on like trying to, pretend it's something not, but like footy clubs in themselves are so good for people in rural areas and not even just anyone, any fucking idiot that has had a shit day. It's hard to come out on the training track and have a shit day with the boys, getting out there, mucking around, pulling the piss out of people and stuff like that. Like, how important is one? I'm not sure what these mental health rounds actually do, but like, how important, Wanty, do you reckon that the Hyden Karlgarin Footy Club is for blokes in the area's mental health and like to come out and have a kick with the boys?
Oh, huge. And it's probably not just the footy club, it's the 3 clubs in town for families, for players, for partners. That release you can get, on a Saturday morning, like a whole day Saturday, to get away from work if you got any problems or anything at home. Like, footy and sporting clubs play such a big role in that. And our footy club is very community based, and it's sort of all hands on. I think all 3 clubs are all hands on. Like,
definitely now.
Like I think I said to you earlier, you wouldn't find many people on committees that aren't players. Like, it's just how it is. It's super important to mental health, and it's I think we've done a fantastic job in supporting it and raising awareness around it. But I think our footy club is, I've played footy in a few places, and I don't think there's many places that are like this. And like, I think we're pretty welcoming, and I think we can make anyone feel welcome. And I think it's super important. Any club to any community, it's the heartland. Like, it's pretty much the pub or your footy or your sporting clubs, and that's just what small communities like this are like. Ours is massive for that.
Yeah, I asked Wes from Darren last weekend, like, what would Darren be without a footy club? And I could see he was like, fuck, I've never thought
I don't
of
think
that.
you ever want to think about that.
He'd be a barfly.
Yeah, like I don't think, especially at times of the busy times, like, myself and Mitch are good mates. There's times that wouldn't want to. That's the nicest thing I'll ever say to you. Like, I'm just doing it for the show.
Bring your boosters, bringing people together.
That's the one time a week you might get to see your mate.
Yeah,
and that's you've got to take advantage of that. And that's what sporting clubs are so important. And if they weren't around, then local towns wouldn't exist. I just don't think.
Nah, Rooster, like, even like, you didn't really train tonight, but even your banter out there, it's what's
no one saw that. You didn't have to bring that up.
well, mate, but this is my thing is. What's crazy about footy clubs is like what makes you smile and happy is almost getting bullied. Like when you come in here and someone pulls the piss out of like, if you, it's really bad. It seems crazy, but if you're not getting the piss pulled out of you, like there's something wrong. That's when you should feel awkward. Yeah. But like, yeah, it was very, very early on in the piece here. It sort of like broke the ice. Even for me, it had nothing to do with me, but I just heard you pulling the piss out of people, and everyone has a laugh and everyone has a giggle, and it's just an icebreaker. But it's weird that like your enjoyment comes from something that you wouldn't. If it happened at school, it'd be a bit weird. But when you come to a footy club and you're like, you can't kick your dickhead, like all of that, like that's where the enjoyment comes. That's from the social sort of interactions and funniness comes from, mate. Like the footy club, how big's it been in your life?
Oh, it's massive. Like Doom said, it's a cornerstone of any community because your walls get hemmed in pretty much if you're just at work all the time. If you bank a few shitty years together, they even get even smaller and you don't have anywhere to go. But that part of our footy club, and it's probably not a lot different to most. I think we do it not too bad. But yeah, it's from the outside looking in, we've always said we all hate each other and that's how we sort of like it. And then, if you're not getting ribbed or bullied, there's probably something wrong with you. Oh, join in, Yeah.
Well, no one pulled the piss out of me tonight, so maybe I'm
It's
just a
because
weirdo, mate.
you wore rep gear to our footy training, which is like the worst thing, biggest flog move you could have done.
Mate. Oh, it's not. It's retro. That is 19 years old, that jersey.
No, but you're just
My
putting
missus
yourself
has
out there.
Tried to throw that shirt out for 15 years, I reckon. Mate, I've had all these
Still
jerseys.
fit you pretty well.
Yeah, mate. I reckon it didn't fit me for about 10 years, mate. Then I've got out of the coppers, jumped into a truck, doing a bit of manual labour every day, and it's helped me out a little bit. But yeah, I've got some shirts. I put on my 2005 Royals Colts Premiership jersey, and it still fit.
Yeah.
I was pretty stoked with that.
Real wanker style, that one.
Mate.
Do you imagine if like Lockie or AJ rocked up in an All-Star jumper?
You probably wouldn't get
at
known.
training.
No.
Oh, jeez.
Dennis Giddos does it
Mate, a
sometimes.
state country Colts.
Yeah,
mate.
but this bloke. Yeah, this
Wait,
is a
pause.
tragic story.
First, Lockie can't even get matching socks tonight, so I don't know about if we need to worry about kid. And you're Led Zeppelin, mate.
Yeah. You got to change it up. It'd be pretty boring if everyone just rocked up in their rep gear all
That's
the time.
true.
You're not in that state.
That's no good, is it?
disgusting,
Yeah.
This bloke went on
State
holidays,
Masters
like
too.
landed in Queensland, and like the Queensland Masters was short, and he played the Masters comp and like ended up with a WA state jumper. It's this guy. He came back. He's got the full kit, like shorts, shirt. It's feral, like,
Mate,
it's
I'll
so
tell
bad.
you, my jersey is 18 years old or whatever it is, and the shorts I had on was when I was water boy about 3 years ago after about a 1 minute call up from Buff Sheridan, mate. Can you come run water for the state country team? So I got the shorts, I got this bag from Waterboy, and the shirts, the state country Colts team that I probably shouldn't have been a part of either.
Probably not. It's not making you look any better telling us this stuff.
Oh, mate,
It's fine.
it is what it is, mate. Every jersey I ever wear, I had a rule is I could not buy it. I had to have earned it. That's all the footy jerseys I
But
had.
not those shorts though.
So I got about 3. All right, my other love, mate, is the Nutrient Ag Carnival. Obviously, the boys just played in the Coolin Colts Carnival, and listening to Tommy James talk about it then, like they pushed Peel right to the line and lost with a couple of seconds to go, and if they win that, they're in the grand final. But
Come from 8th last year.
Yep.
And finished 3rd and should have played in the grand final, which is a pretty good achievement.
yeah,
for
not
Epsom.
so Peel.
Yeah,
I'm not sure Peel's country.
It's not
we
really
get in
country.
trouble. We were talking about this earlier. Is
Yeah,
this an off-air
yeah.
conversation? Or?
Mate, it's how I feel. I live in Perth and I work in Pinjarra, but it's a country footy team somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, the I always call it Landmark, and I'm trying to get some coin eventually out of Nutrient, so I should take it a bit more seriously. But the Nutrient Ag Solutions Country Footy Carnival, how much of an emphasis is it to play for the EDFL? You know, is it a big thing, or is it just sort of, you know, not massive representation wise? How serious do you take it?
I think certainly last year and this year, I know Greg Vaughan is our coach, and getting coaching continuity and also player continuity is a big thing. And I don't think that'd be any different to most leagues. I think getting the players that should be playing is a bit of a struggle.
Yep.
And I think maybe because there's some teams that are pretty heavily on imports now. How many of them are sort of playing rep footy? Probably not many. But hopefully they can turn that around. I know Vaughnie's very passionate about Carnival Week. And then he's a passionate bloke all around, like when it comes to coaching, definitely. So, you know, for mine, he's probably a good person to have our best interests at heart there when they're going to Carnival, definitely.
Where's Vaughan from?
He's farming Eastern Narrabeen. He used to, well, I don't know if he still is a CSBP rep. I'm sure he'll tell me next time I see him. But
sure,
yeah, and then he coached Narram through some of their really strong years. They won a couple of flags. Pretty hard sort of coach, but I think he's well suited to the job. Yeah, and then he was big on trying to build some continuity into last year into this year is definitely what he's looking for, because I don't think we probably haven't had that for a while. Yeah.
Was he coaching the year he got suspended for not going? Or?
Yep.
So do you have that rule that if you don't go, you get suspended?
I don't know. I don't know if they have that rule.
It happened once.
No.
Oh,
Anyway.
the judge of character, I reckon.
Right, yeah, so I actually think you guys are in Divi 2 this year, or B grade,
Divi
whatever they
2,
call
yeah.
it. It's going to be,
Yeah, it's pretty stacked if you too.
mate, it is stacked.
Yeah.
I'm really, I don't know, not excited, but like I can't wait to see what actually happens in it. Like obviously Upper's going to be incredibly strong, but Mate, flip a coin for the rest.
Yeah. Yeah, look, our boys, I think commitment has ebbed and flowed, over, and it's all, like you said, depending on the coach. Our best side is definitely good enough to be, like we've been sitting in Div 2 for the last few years and haven't gone up or down. So, I've seen the squad and it looks all right. Fingers crossed we can be super competitive. But there's some bloody good sides in Div 2. Like obviously uppers to be down in Div 2 is that wouldn't have happened ever, is it?
Nah, I think it's something like the 70s.
Yeah, right.
And from what I can understand, it seems like the player commitment sort of waned and maybe some wrong people were involved, and it's sort of the standard slowly dropped, and then the wake up call's been getting dropped back to twos, and then
if they got the shits on and they send a good side,
look out.
they'll be hard to beat.
Yep,
Yeah,
that's what it sounds like. The people that should be involved have gone, fuck this. What's going on here? You're out. And then all the people that need to be running stuff have come back, and like I get tagged in some of their stuff on the Bring Your Boot social stuff. Like they trained like 3 weeks ago. Their first session was 3 weeks ago, I reckon.
Oh, shit.
So they'll be up and about. So yeah, it'll be really, really strong. Like I know the Great Southern Footy League, like they're up and about, but yeah, I think the standard of footy is going to be really, really strong in the B grade this year, mate.
Yeah.
I had a look at the representatives from Hyden Karlgarin, Trent James, Mitchell Lane, Sam Want, Mackenzie Brown, Eli Alexander, and Lockie Mouritz. Pretty strong?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd say they'd probably all get a start,
Yep.
depending on
Availability
and
all
injury,
that.
probably
Yeah.
injury. I think they're all going. They're in our strongest five for sure.
Trent, so just talk me through it. Trent was here tonight? No.
No.
Mitchell?
Mitch
Nah,
in
Mitch
Perth.
is in
Mitch
Perth.
is like local boy.
He
on the
floats
farm.
in and out a fair bit, yeah.
Yeah, he'll be back in 12 months, I reckon.
Yeah.
But he's
Sam
doing
Want,
great for
obviously
Perth.
just running his own program, not coming to
Huge flog.
training.
He's a loser. Yep.
Mackenzie Brown, not here?
Yep.
Yeah,
Big
Mac
tall
was here.
fella in
Tall guy.
In the Curtin
Wesley.
University? Yeah.
he's
He
a
moves
ruckman.
really well, hey?
Yeah.
He moves.
I don't
Where's
know what
he?
he did. Don't know what he did in the bio. He was flushing them tonight off the boot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's not standard?
Nah. He's a ruckman.
Ruckman. he moved well. Who was I talking to? Clifford. Is that
Big
Cliff?
Cliff,
His
yeah.
name is Clifford or Big Red Dog?
Big red dog.
Yeah, okay, big
cold,
red
cold
cliff.
hero, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You were like,
Yeah.
you speak of, we were talking earlier about like Rezzies are the, the
The glue.
The glue. Mate, he is like the ultimate.
The Big Red Dog.
Yeah. And I'm not sure he knows all the time, but
No.
he's the glue.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, right. No, he moved. I spoke to him about it. I was like, fuck, that dude moves well. And he was like, yep.
Oh.
And then, obviously, Eli Alexander I've seen his name pop up on like Player HQ a fair bit. Does he play full forward?
Yeah. He's new one this year. He's going out with a young girl from town.
Yep.
He's he'd be 20. He's been good. Full forward. Kicked a few bags early. He's been a bit crook last few weeks and hasn't really fired, but no, he's been a good pick up. Really
Gets his
bought
hands
in.
on it a lot.
He's hard to stop. Like when he's coming up at the footy, he looks pretty good. He probably could have kicked a lot more. He's kicked some like
He's-
6
yeah,
sixes
sometimes
and 5
bit
sixes
wayward.
and 5 sevens, stuff like that. But he's definitely in the best around now.
Yeah, sweet. All right. Well, to get this going, you last weekend you had a pretty important function here for the footy club, Rooster. Talk me through the function, what you did, how successful was it? Talk me through it.
Yeah, so we had our 20-year reunion of the 2005 League and Resi's premierships, the double that year, and then also we had our
That must have been some night.
What at the time or
At the time. Well, I'm assuming this weekend as well,
that
but
was relatively
on
large,
the night.
Yeah, it was a 20-year one. We probably had more guys that came from the Resis from that year that were here for the 20-year. I remember the 10-year one being quite large for the league blokes. But yeah, well supported, and our coach at the time, and he also played his 200th game on that weekend, Josh Whitwell, Deebs. He did really well to muster, some relatively crinkly old dudes out of wherever they were hiding and brought them back out here, and they all loved it. Some guys I hadn't seen for 15, 20 years. But also I think the main one that was the 2014, so it was 10 years plus one, the year before we had a 100-year footy So it was a bit big to have it that year. That was the main one, and we got most of those guys back. It was fantastic. Fantastic to see guys that were around here a lot, and then they've done other things, or they've moved on from farming, or they're working in Perth now, and just to celebrate that, it was sort of a turning point for our club. We'd come out of a relatively strong period through the early 2000s, and then really struggled there for a while. Not only with probably people around and players, but also, we weren't doing super great financially and stuff like that. And we sort of all got together and decided that we wanted a better club and wanted to do this and do that. And then it was a real building premiership. It was built over a few years. We finished bottom in 2012, and through no other sort of imports or much, it was sort of all local guys. We lost the grand final in 2013, got absolutely pumped by Karlgarin, and then made it again in 2014 and pulled it off. And for mine, that was a really big turning point for this club, for the next generation of players. Early on in those sort of early 2000s, there was a lot of success, but the generational divide was definitely there in the 2014 one. And the night went really well. It was relatively informal. We didn't put too much on it. We just let it happen like it usually does. And it was really good. Yeah, it was awesome.
It's so good to bring the fellas back from the club that sort of can get disconnected a little bit just with life and all that. But then you come back to the footy club, you have the beers, you catch up with your mates, and you realise how good that time was. What sort of success has the club had since 2014 then? Like, how many flags have you had since that time?
2.
2 or 3?
21, 22.
Yeah.
2.
Should probably know.
Nah, 2. Definitely 2.
Yeah.
I mean, we played, I reckon we only missed finals 2 or 3 times, probably since 2014.
8-team league, 4-team finals?
Yeah, 4-team finals. Yeah, and it's actually funny. After 2014, we didn't win another final till 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we kept playing in finals, and we just kept losing big ones. And, but then we had that strong period from 2020 to 2024. I would say we've had a reasonable success. We've stayed pretty strong with a strong core group. It's been good. It's been a good last 10 years to be a part of.
It has been really good.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
Not to pump his tyres up again, but did Sam get best on in one of those flags?
No, he didn't.
I seen him.
AJ,
Both?
AJ stole 2 medals, actually, I reckon.
Well, he got 2 medals and 2 flags.
No, 2014 he pinched one.
He
pinched one. Off
Bradley
Bradley Smith.
One of the old blokes is still flat, Kick 5.
Not come back.
No,
Kick 5 and didn't get it.
Didn't get it. Stolen.
Yep, stolen.
Yeah.
Left footers, mate. They draw the attention of those umpires.
Then
I tell
AJ
you.
won one in the wet up at the cross.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's been successful and good. Like, we've had, like I said, the young core group and a lot of buy-in from everyone. And those 10 years post 14 were far out. We had some fun. They were wicked. It's good. It's been really good.
And I guess probably just to sort of finalise this up, mate. What's this 10-ton club? Is that major sponsors? What is that?
So the 10-ton club is a thing that we've started last year, and it's probably not exclusive to this footy club. It is. So 10 ton. So if you're a local farmer in the district and you want to make a contribution to the football club, then you donate 10 ton worth of grain, whatever grain that may be, whatever you want to get rid of. Some people have done more than 10. Some people have just done a little bit less. But and that's what it is. And you can see in the first year, I mean, without counting, there'd be 10 or so names up there. 11 there you go.
What's that worth, that 10 grand?
If you want to get real down to it, depending on what it is, but it's over $3,000, like it's $3,500. You know, from individual farming families, that's a relatively big donation.
Yeah, massive.
We had
in a year.
In one, that's just
So
that
that's
was
like,
the first year.
There's
yeah,
11 in a year, like 11 different families.
Yeah.
Yes, there's 30 plus G's.
Yeah, we had for a long period, and it's not right that I don't know how many years that they donated it for, but the Ray family donated 50 hectares of their own land for a long time that we used to crop and use for, things that we needed to use it for in the footy club. And that was it was free all the time. And then since then it got passed on. and that family were also very generous and let us do the same thing. But we felt it was probably appropriate that sort of started to wane, and we sort of saw some other clubs that did the same sort of thing. I know some boys like Lake Grace do that, the same sort of 10-ton club, and we thought that'd be a really good thing. And I actually thought we'd have maybe 2 or 3 or 4 maybe in the first year, but to get 11 is outstanding. And I think it shows the backing that this town has for the sporting clubs in general. Because with a strong football club, everything else comes around that, because obviously footy's the biggest club in town, so. Yeah, it's fantastic.
So would you say like the 10-ton club are your major sponsors? Like I'll go through them. The Mouritz family, I'm assuming that's yours. Graham family, James family, Strother family, the Hink family, Neild family, Walton family, James family, Biglin family, James family again, Jesmond James. Oh, Jesus, James. There is plenty of them.
Yeah,
and then,
separate families,
they're all
But
different too.
like I know it probably sounds a little bit, boring to read out initially, but mate, that's such a massive contribution to
It's
the
huge,
club. Like,
massive.
do you have sponsors of the club, or do
Absolutely.
you have families?
No, we've got, outside this sort of first thing, we've got sponsors, but that also can include families. A lot of our major sponsors are families that are in the club, or even there's life members of the club amongst that family setups. And then also businesses in town that maybe not be farming families, or like Dump works up at the Steel Fab, and they're sponsors of the footy club, and there's a lot of that goes on.
I know that he is.
Isn't he this year?
Oh, he's
Well, I'll retract that statement.
tight for cash.
Oh, what? How much is he
too
paying
much.
you?
Yeah.
You robbing him?
Plenty.
But yeah, we have a good crop of sponsors. Yeah, and we have there's a bloke on the community that does that most years, and yeah, we always get good support, mainly from agricultural businesses. But yeah, no, it's always good. But yeah, that in particular is massive, and it's so generous, and for people to get on board with it the first year is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the first year of it. It's probably just indicative of the people involved in, and you've said it a few times, but like it's just the people involved in football. Like they're just the representatives of the Hyden Karlgarin sort of footy, but there's families like that throughout all of Western Australia that contribute massively to the success of footy clubs. And I reckon that gets us through it, boys. There's an hour and 20 minutes there of talking shit. Really appreciate your time. Thanks for having me out here. Again, the love for footy's coming back for me, coming to trainings way more than those games, because you feel amongst it, mate. And yeah, you guys should be proud of where the footy club is. Like the club rooms were wicked, the change rooms were wicked, all the boys were wicked. Like, yeah, should be proud of where you're at. Wish you all the best in the future, and appreciate your time. Thank you.
Yeah, good on you,
mate.
Cam.
Thank
Good on
you.
Thanks.
All right, and thanks, Kelsey, for this feed that I'm about to annihilate. Thanks, guys.